Welcome. My name is Tina Allen, and I work with Strategic Solutions and was contracted by Grand Traverse County Planning to help design a process for this master plan project that would be inclusionary and would help build collaborations in the future among the local units of government. My responsibility with this was to make sure that the community's planning commissions all had the same opportunity to be heard, to make sure that all of their ideas were considered and honored, and to provide a variety of opportunities for them to discuss and brainstorm solutions to their concerns, and this just allow for open conversation aimed at specific plan topics. So the first challenge we had was, how do we create an atmosphere that would encourage the building of personal relationships and connections? We know that to really get things done, the more people you know, the person that you can pick up the phone and talk to, those are the people those connections are the things that can really make collaboration work, and we wanted to be able to foster that. We also wanted to provide opportunities for the local governments to have things to talk about and to understand where they might be able to collaborate and how they might be able to collaborate. So trying to design something that would include those values started us with just trying to find out what the issue areas might be in the community that would encourage collaboration. So to do that, County Planning sent out really a simple questionnaire that just asked all planning commissioners what were the topics that they were dealing with the most in land use issues. That helped narrow that down for the plan itself, but more importantly for the process, it helped us see who was interested in what. And we were able to take the names of the people who decided to come to the first summit that was held, the introductory summit. We were able to take them and see what they were interested in and actually seat them together so that they could start having that discussion about what they're interested in, and it was almost a peer pressure kind of thing to make you want to stay involved in the process because you got to know other people. And that was really the very beginning of the discussions of each topic area. So once we had people that we knew were interested and seemed to have a little bit more time and determination to really talk about these things, we asked them to be part of group topic, groups that dealt with each topic. So we took each topic that came out of the survey and were discussed at the first planning summit or introduced, and we had groups of people meet on each of those topics. They actually kind of worked as almost steering committees, you'd call them in the past. They were the ones that were going to help us get through the process, because it was important that county planning wasn't running the process, that I wasn't running it, that actually planning commissioners within the community were doing it. So the first stage of that was this group. So as we got together talking about each topic, the first thing that we did there was make sure that everybody was on the same page. Make sure that if I say the word open space, that everyone in the room had the same definition of open space. Because that's sometimes where we can get kind of caught up in things, as having totally different languages for what we're talking about. So that was the first thing we made sure within the topic discussion groups. And then by this time it was pretty clear that we weren't going to be able to get every planning commissioner to come to us. So we realized that it was very important, if we really wanted to hear from them, that we needed to go to them. So within these groups, what we asked them to do the first time was, if you were going to go out to planning commissioners in this community, what do you want to know from them? What do you want them to know about what you're thinking, and what do you want to know from them? So each of those topic groups created questions that could be asked to every planning commissioner in Grand Traverse County, so we could get the feedback from them directly from them. So the next challenge we had then was to take those questions out to every planning commission in Grand Traverse County, which I'm going to say there were 18, but we had a few that were smushed together, so I'm not sure how many there were. but to go out to all these groups and allow for a discussion. The important part there was, yeah, we can go out, we could go page by page and ask them all these questions. What is your answer to this? What is your answer to this? But we didn't really feel that we were going to get the results that we wanted that way. What we allowed them to do was, I'd read the questions and then say, you talk about the ones that are the most important to your community, and you talk about it in the way that works for you. So some planning commissions, their chair went around to each person, and others, they just kind of had discussion among themselves. And John and I acted as flies on the wall, I would tell them, and just listen to what they had to say, let them have the discussion, maybe ask a few follow-up questions, but they really led their community discussion so that they were able to address the things that were most important to them instead of things that we pre-decided were important to us. And through that process, there were some really interesting discussions. They always overlapped. You never got to just talk about natural resources or just talk about transportation. It was so obvious that the interconnections of all of these topics. And so that was something that we were able to carry through then when we went to our next stage. After we heard from all the planning commissioners and took lots and lots of notes, we gathered those topic discussion groups together again, and we gave them all of the notes from the planning commissions. We, by this time, County Planning had done the trends and analysis piece. They had that. They had any resources that they requested that they'd like to have in front of them. And they were able to really look at this and see all this information together in the context of just their topic. At that point, we really thought that we would do something where it would be more led. In other words, more, this is what we need to establish values, we need to establish strategies. But what we found in those discussions was that we really got a lot more out of them to allow them to have those free-form discussions as well. So we kind of started it and said, let's talk about some values, let's talk about some strategies. What do you see in the comments from these planning commissioners that help inform you on what can be done, what can be better, what can we do to change things? And as they talked, became very clear again, things tend to rise to the top when you allow for free-form discussion like that. And the values and strategies really came out of our notes from those groups. They didn't leave having to have formulated exact values and strategies. They were just able to tell us what was important to them, what they saw was important to the other planning commissioners. After those groups met the second time, the topic groups, and really headed us in the right direction, we took that information and put it together into something that was a nice list of values and strategies. After we did that, we actually went through all of the notes from every planning commission meeting to make sure that somehow anything that was voiced as a concern was addressed in some way. And it was interesting to go back and see that this process really did come to that. You could go back and take this values and strategies that came out of the final topic group, the review of the topic groups, and could see how it really did address everything anyone had mentioned. Maybe not 100% fully, but certainly a first step toward the direction they wanted to go. So once those values and strategies were outlined, we also decided we needed to go out to the counties that surrounded Grand Traverse County. Although those discussions were a little bit different, in every case, whether it was a local planning commission or a county planning commission, they were all expressed gratitude that Grand Traverse County cared enough to reach out to them and ask them what they thought. I don't even know that any of them had expectations for something when it was over, but the conversations were great. And we've had comments about different communities that are now talking to their neighbors and doing some things that they did differently because of just that whole invitation to be included, which is really what we were going for the whole time. So once we heard from everyone and we had the values and strategies together, that was the time then for a committee of the Grand Traverse County Planning Commission to look at everything, make sure that what the county planning has been working on has been addressed, and see if there were any gaps. It was time if they wanted to add language or take language away. But my job during that was just to make sure that they also honored the comments that came from all the planning commissioners, that nothing was left out, nothing was substantially changed. And throughout this whole process, John would send copies of things or notes that we took or our first drafts of strategies and values back to the people working on it and say, will you check this? Did we really capture what you wanted to say? Is this really how you felt about it? Are we going in the right direction? So there was always that recheck with the planning commissioners who were helping us lead the process. So once it went back to county planning, they were able to take the strategies that were listed and turn them into action items. And those action items are now listed at the end. This is a whole new way of looking at things. It really, the plan itself, we didn't know from the beginning how it would turn out, but what it really turned out to be is almost a work plan for the county. And the reason that was able to happen, and I think it will be great value to the local units. This isn't the kind of plan that sits on a shelf and everybody goes back to. This is the kind of plan that really says these are the things we're going to do and here's how we can make it happen. But what was most important was that we provided an opportunity that we could design that would allow everyone who wanted to have a significant role in this plan. We went to them, we asked them to talk to each other the way that made them the most comfortable. We asked them to trust us with their concerns, and they did. I really think that county planning has held up their side of that trust. I think this plan really does have every effort in it to address what they wanted. It was an absolutely wonderful experience, and I truly believe that this document is different than any other and has already started changing the culture of how the local planning commissioners in Grand Traverse County work together. It was an invitation and example how just reaching out to your neighbors in a way that honors how you are the same and how you are different can yield incredible results. And I'd like to commend John Syke and the Grand Traverse County Planning Commission for the insight and recognition that if you really want to help someone, you don't tell them how you should help them, you ask them how you can help them. And that's exactly what they did. Thank you for your time.